We started by looking at the husband of the chief magistrate, Lady Arbuthnot, who's made a number of rulings on the Assange case, but is now stepped aside. But we found that her husband was a Conservative defence minister. He financially benefited from corporations that had been exposed by WikiLeaks. We then did an investigation of her son, who is a cybersecurity expert and financier and the vice president of a private equity group. And we found that this private equity group was heavily invested in a firm called Darktrace, which was set up by the British intelligence establishment. They celebrate that fact. They write on their website that we're set up by MI5 and GCHQ veterans. And we just put all the stuff together that was out there. We further found that actually Lady Arbuthnot herself had benefited from Foreign Office partner organizations who had funded her to go to Turkey and Spain before she was appointed the chief magistrate. So huge conflicts of interest that are really obvious and didn't involve us finding out information that isn't already in the public realm. She has never recused herself in the case, which is irregular in itself, because I've talked to lawyers who have said if there's any hint of conflict of interest, judges will recuse themselves very early on, but she never has. In fact, the only recognition that she's stepped aside on the case was a recent article in Private Eye where the Chief Magistrate Office said that she had stepped aside because of the perception of bias, whatever that means. We didn't get any more information about what that perception of bias was. Now, of course, it would have massive implications for the case if she did formally recuse herself. Number one, because she's made important rulings, which could then be revisited. Number two, because she's still the chief magistrate, which means she has a mentoring role for her junior magistrates, one of which is now ruling on the case. So she was likely involved in appointing Vanessa Barreza, who is now the district judge who's ruling on the case. She was likely involved in appointing her to replace Lady Arbuthnot.